Hello, let me first start by introducing myself. My name is Denny Barkos, and I am the inventor of this crazy thing called a jbong. We are so excited that you've taken an interest in the jbong, that you've given me an opportunity to speak to you firsthand, tell you a little bit about the story, to tell you why it's a must-have, how to use it, who's loving it, and a few other tidbits. All right. One Saturday night, about 12 o'clock at night, a few years back, I'm sitting out on my back deck, I'm smoking a joint, looking up at the stars, and it occurred to me that I wasn't able to see the stars because all I could see was smoke blowing by. So I headed to the garage, found myself a tube, started drilling holes. It's 12:30 at night on a Saturday. Look behind me, my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I turned to her and said, "I've got an idea." She turns to me and says, "I'm going to bed," which she did. But 20 minutes later, we have our first jbong. And you know what? Kind of worked. So we started here, 2.5 years later, we end up with the actual jbong. I've been smoking joints for 40 years. I love them, but they are dirty, they're fragile, and they waste your flower. In fact, 50% of it blows away in the wind. The jbong fixes all of that. No ashes or heaters dropping, super discreet, less smoke on your clothes, your skin, and in your hair, rain, wind, and snow. This thing is brilliant outdoors. Golfing, fishing, hunting, hiking, walking the dog. And it keeps your joint lit and dry no matter what you're doing. The jbong is a supercharger for your joint. It hits harder, tastes richer, and lasts longer. And finally, my favorite part. I love how easy it is to put my joint out. I simply twist it to the closed position, vents are closed, my joint is out in 3 to 7 seconds, put it in my pocket until my next session. Particularly good for those situations where you've got to put it out quickly. Okay, so how does the jbong work? I think it's important we take a look inside to give you an explanation of that. And inside here, you can see what it looks like. It's got 3 vents on both sides, which match to the mesh on both sides. So if you look closely here, you will see a little arrow on the outside and the arrows on the inside. So when you reassemble it, you match the arrows up and just push it down and it should click into place. Now, you'll notice an X and an O. X means that the vents are closed on both sides, and O, of course, means that they're open. So if you turn the arrow to the O, your vents are completely open. Now, I typically set it to half. Once it's set to half, that'll give me an idea how much smoke is escaping or how much I want to have escape. After that point, I take my joint, mouthpiece, I light it, a couple of puffs to get it going. Once it's in the jbong, of course, simply being in the capsule, you are retaining more smoke. From there, you have some options. If you recall, I mentioned that you can adjust how much the vents are open versus closed. Also, you can choke the air. The more you choke the air, the bigger the draw you're going to get. That's how the jbong works. I do have a kicker. If the jbong has not blown your mind yet, you should see what it will do for a bong. So there are 3 things going on here. First and foremost, we use a bong to make them cooler and smoother, yet we add a lighter and butane. Using the jbong, no heat source, no butane. Second thing that's happening here is no relighting half-burnt bowls. When you're finished, you just simply remove the jbong. And 3, because there's no ashes and no resin being drawn through, it takes the cleaning from days to weeks. I've yet to meet a bong user that loves to clean their bong. Let's talk about how easy the jbong is to clean. Probably the easiest accessory you'll ever have to clean. All you need to do is take a sealed container, put some isopropyl in it with some sea salt, take your jbong apart, take the mouthpiece out, the outer shell off, and then you're left with the inner shell. Take all 3 pieces, put them in your container, soak them or give them a shake, either way. Once you're done, pull each piece out, simply put a piece of paper towel in one end and pull it out the other. I primarily focus on the mouthpiece. This is where you're going to get a variance in taste and flavor. Is keeping this mouthpiece clean is very important. I probably every 7 to 10 days will clean this. As far as the base goes, I don't really worry about it until it becomes so hard to twist that I have to clean it. So focus in on the mouthpiece, a little bit isopropyl, put a paper towel in one end and pull it out the other. It's that simple. Pre-roll market continues to grow year over year. From a volume perspective, faster than any other format. In most markets in North America, pre-rolls have captured as much as 30% of market share, and it looks like this trend is going to continue. The jbong is on trend. It's unique, it's affordable, and it adds actual value to your customers, making it an easy upsell. If they're buying anything related to smoking a joint, whether it be pre-rolls themselves, whether it be a grinder, papers, rolling trays, anything of that nature, the jbong is a nice, easy upsell. Because it's so unique, because it's so innovative, you can simply ask your customers, have you heard of the jbong, and start a conversation around it. So who's buying the jbong? It's people who are active and social. Can't tell you how many people I've talked to. They love it when they're fishing. They love it when they're at the beach. They love it when they're on hikes. It's the usability again. People who are active, people who are social, that's who's buying this product. Now, if you want to talk about demographics, the guys love it. There's no question. They're very much active, very much outdoors, whether it's work related or whether it's recreationally related. But strangely enough, there is a slight lean towards women. And I think a part of that reason is the cleanliness that it offers. So if you have your female customers in there that are buying pre-rolls, or your male customers for that matter, that are buying pre-rolls, that are buying flour, that are going to be rolling it into a joint, they could be purchasing grinders, they could be purchasing rolling trays, anything that's around the idea that they smoke pre-rolls and joints. The jbong is a great add-on product for them and something that's going to give them absolute value. In other words, something you're going to give them. They'll get more out of their cannabis, they'll get more usability out of the product, they'll be able to keep moving, and that's what they're going to get the most, and that's the customer that's going to love this. Anyone really that smokes joints. So something important to note about the jbong. It's only a novelty if you just try it. I would advise your customers, and/or if you're about to try it, to make sure that you use it over a few days. The real value shows up when you use it on a regular basis. You will see how much easier, cleaner, and convenient the jbong really is. That is where you'll find your value. You know, my wife and I are super proud of the jbong, and we're really humbled by the response we've gotten from our customers. The jbong is being sold throughout Canada, into the United States, and as far away as Australia, which is pretty friggin' cool. You know, I don't know where ideas come from, but man, super blessed that we got this one. Well, that about covers it. Thanks again for taking the time and showing an interest in the jbong. We really appreciate your enthusiasm and your support. We are always available to share more, and we encourage you to think outside the box and bring your ideas forward to us. All right, peace. Denny.